Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism or mechanisms in Hero Realms. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Hero Realms Cooperative campaign, which we just started the other day, two-player campaign for Hero Realms. The reason I'm not going to delve too deep into the game itself is that it is essentially the same as Star Realms, which I've already talked about on this channel. It's a great deck-building game that, up to this point, I've only played Star Realms competitively, but Hero Realms, we started off right out of the gate playing cooperatively. Two-player against the campaign opponents, the masters that the campaign presents to us. And it's in that mechanism, that area of the game that I really like to focus today because I think some really interesting things are done. The expansion that I'm going to spoil a little bit for the very first game in the Ruins of Thandar, I think that's the name of it, Ruins of something, module, scenario pack for this game. And it has to do with how the masters work. So the very thing that first thing that you're going to encounter in this campaign is you're going to be in a tavern, and something weird is going to happen, and some regulars at that tavern are going to attack you. So these are the enthralled regulars. So this isn't some big boss. These are just some angry people at a tavern. I kind of love how low key the campaign starts out. And what happens on every turn in the game, you'll get to take a normal turn of the game in Hero Realms, kind of like Star Realms. But before you do that, you will take a turn for the bad guy, for the villain, for the master. And the AI works really, really well and in some really, really interesting ways. And I'll explain how that works here. Basically, you have this card right here, and there are these icons over here on the right. And sometimes you're going to have these cards come up. So card like this, you might have a charging drunk show up. Let me see if I can get the camera to actually focus here. It is not focusing, but it says charging drunk, and it has a little yellow icon up here, and that yellow icon you can also see is right down there. And so the first thing you do when this charging drunk comes at you, charging at you in this tavern, is you look at this icon, and you look at the corresponding icon here, and it says that the enthralled regulars gain 2 health. So this master that you're trying to reduce to 0 life gains 2 life. So there's that happens. And then you have to deal with this card itself. It's not always, in fact, I'll show you another card that's more of an event. This is a minion. And this minion goes right in front of you and also does what a minion does. Usually it attacks you. So it is going to attack you for 4 damage. And this minion is it's just stuck in front of you until you can deal with it. You can't fight the master until you deal with it. You can't send health to your fellow companions, the other players at the table, until you deal with this minion because you are busy fighting this charging drunk. So I really like how the system works. It's very easy to come. Like the card comes up, you do the thing on here, and then you do on the thing on the card, and then you're done. And any other minions that are in front of you also attack. So I like how streamlined that is, but I like how the dual system, so you're dealing with a minion itself and also always having to deal with a master as well, but in a very simple way. This is not a complex thing that takes a long time. Very, very quick. Also, just a quick shout out to the thematic nature of this, even though we've only played one scenario. I love the idea that there are drunks charging at us in this tavern. I also love that one of the obstacles that we encountered wasn't someone to fight, but rather the simple inconvenience of broken tables and chairs. That was this card that came up, broken tables and chairs. Still can't get the camera to focus, but that's what it says, broken tables and chairs. So you have to deal with this thing that happened. Like you're in a tavern, you get stuck behind some broken tables and chairs, and you have to deal with that as part of the puzzle of this game. I thought that was really cleverly done, and I look forward to seeing what other things come out as we encounter other scenarios in the game. The last thing that I want to tie into this is that one of the other cards that you can draw are these mastery cards. And this is both a good and a bad thing, because when a mastery card comes up, there's no minion, there's no event, there's no bad thing that's really happening down here. You do triggers. I would trigger the green ability on the master for this card coming up. But what happens here is if at any time you have more than if you reach 3 of these cards, if in total you have drawn and applied 3 mastery cards to the master levels up. You flip it over. These abilities get stronger. They draw more cards per game, per turn. And this is the second side. This card number over here says you're drawing 2 cards per turn instead of just 1. So they get stronger. And so even though these are a bit of a reprieve from the minions, the broken tables and chairs, things like that, they're still really problematic because you don't want the master to get 3 of these and level up, because then they get a lot harder to deal with. So it becomes a nice puzzle of how do you deal with these minions What do you do if you can manipulate any aspect of the master's deck? What do you do to avoid? Do you avoid the minions? Do you avoid these cards so the master can't level up? Really, really like that, and I like how streamlined it is. You're just drawing a card, one of these cards or one of the, it's just one deck of cards, and dealing with it in a super streamlined way. I love streamlined AIs if I am going to be fighting against a game in a cooperative game. So yeah, that all ties into my favorite mechanisms dealing with the master in the Hero Realms cooperative campaign. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've played this campaign. No spoilers, please, but feel free to mention your favorite aspects of Hero Realms, the Hero Realms cooperative campaign, or if there's any AI in a cooperative game where you're fighting against the game that you find very streamlined and easy to deal with. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.